She didn't mirror. She cried. Tatsu had first made the family stop in their tracks, a tiny bobcat kitten, shaking, desperately, staring straight into their eyes as if begging for help. At first, they thought it was lost, maybe hungry, maybe abandoned. But then the kitten did something no wild animal ever does. Mighty turned round, walked a few steps, then looked back, waiting. Almost as if it was saying, "Follow me, please." They hesitated. But that CRY, that heartbreaking, desperate CRY, pulled the arm forward. They had no idea that in just minutes they would be standing at the edge of a cliff. A second kitten was fighting for its life below. And the mother bobcat was watching everything from the shadows. What the family did next was brave. But what the mother did in return left the arm absolutely speechless. The forest was quiet that afternoon, the kind of stillness that feels almost secret. Sunlight slipped through the branches, painting the ground in soft gold as the Parker family walked along the trail. It was supposed to be a simple weekend hike, nothing more. But fate had other plans. Alice walked slightly ahead, enjoying the crisp air, when she suddenly froze. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. Her husband, Mark, stopped. "Hear what?" Then it came again. A sound so soft, so broken, it didn't even sound like an animal. A tiny, trembling CRY. Not a mirror. Not a growl. A CRY. Alice turned toward the trees, scanning the shadows. Something was wrong. And then they saw it. A small bobcat kitten stepped out from behind a fallen log, fur scruffy, a swayed, body shaking. It stared directly at the arm, unblinking, like it had been waiting for someone. The kids gasped. "Oh my God, it's a baby bobcat." But before anyone could move, the kitten let out another heartbreaking CRY, sharp and pleading. It wasn't scared. It wasn't running. Instead, it took a few steps toward the arm, then stopped, and looked back at the trees. Almost like it wanted the arm to follow. Mark frowned. "That's not normal." Bobcats are white humorous. Alice's heart was pounding. There was something in the kitten's eyes, desperation, fear, and something she couldn't explain. The kitten cried again, louder this time. Alice crouched slightly. "Sweetie, are you trying to show us something?" The kitten turned and moved deeper into the trees, pausing every few steps to look back and make sure they were behind it. Its tiny tail quivered with every CRY. Mark's voice dropped. "This doesn't feel like a random encounter. Something's wrong out there." They followed, slowly, carefully, stepping over roots and branches as the forest grew denser. The cries guided the arm like little echoes bouncing through the trees. After a few minutes, the kitten stopped at the edge of a rocky clearing. And that's when Alice felt her stomach drop. Just ahead was a steep cliff, at least 20 feet down, and at the bottom, a second bobcat kitten was trapped between two rocks, crying weakly for help. Its tiny claws scraped hopelessly against the stone as it tried to climb. "Oh no," Alice choked, covering her mouth. It stuck. But something else made her freeze. At the very top of the cliff, off hidden behind a boulder, two golden eyes glowed in the shadows. The mother, silent, still, helpless. She couldn't reach her trapped baby. She couldn't climb down. And the kitten at the top, the one that had let the arm here, was her only hope. Alice whispered, voice trembling. "She brought us here. She asked us for help." Mark took a step forward, jaw tight, already scanning the rocks below. The family had followed a crying bobcat kitten. But what they were about to do next would test their courage in ways they never expected. For a moment, time stood still. The tiny kitten below the cliff let out a weak, shivering CRY that echoed across the rocks. Its little body trembled as it struggled to free itself from the narrow gap where it had slipped. Alice's eyes filled with tears. "We can't leave it. We just can't." Mark knelt near the edge, scanning the drop. Loose stones, sharp rocks, and clear footholds. One wrong shift and he could fall straight down. "It's at least 20 feet, he muttered. "I don't have any climbing gear." Behind the the first kitten, the one that let the pissed anxiously. IT let out tiny cries, nudging the edge as if urging the to hurry. And from the shadows above, the mother bobcat watched. Golden eyes. Silent breath. Every muscle tense. She didn't growl. She didn't threaten. She simply waited. Alice whispered, she trusting us touch. Mark took a deep breath, squeezing the dirt between his fingers. 10 years doing this. I'm going down touch. The kids gasped. That? No. It's too dangerous. What if you sleep? Mark looked at each of the arm, which is ways firm but gentle. It's alive. And it's scared. And we can't help. That's all that matters touch. He tied his jacket sleeves together and looped the arm around a sturdy tree trunk, a makeshift anchor. Not perfect. Not safe. But better than nothing. Alice grabbed his arm. Please, be careful, touch. She kissed her forehead. I be fine, touch. Slowly, he swung 1 foot over the edge, searching for a solid foothold. Purple skittered down the cliff. His fingers tightened around the roots and cracks in the stone. The mother bobcat crouched lower, following every move. Not attacking, not growling. Just watching, as if praying. Inch by inch, Mark climbed down until he reached the narrow ledge where the tiny kitten lay trapped. Its cries grew louder when he got close. He, little one, he whispered, voice soft. We got you, touch. He reached in, gently cupping his hands round the shaking kitten. Its tiny claws clung to his sleeve, desperately for safety. But as he pulled it free, the ledge crumbled beneath his feet. Mark! Ellie screamed. He slipped, dropping several inches, slamming his shoulder against the rock. Pain shot through his arm, but he held the kitten tightly against his chest. He grabbed a root with his free hand just in time. Alice clung to the yatsky tangerine rope, voice shaking. Mark, can you climb up? Breathing hard, he gritted his teeth. Yeah. Incoming, touch. Slowly, painfully slowly, he climbed back up the cliff. Dirt crumbled. Rocks shifted. Sweat burned his face. But inch by inch, he rose. Finally, with one last push, Alice pulled him over the edge. He lay on the ground, chest heaving, the rescued kitten still tucked against him. The first kitten rushed over, mooing wildly. The mother bobcat stepped from the shadows, her body trembling, not from aggression, but from overwhelming relief. And for a brief moment, man and child locked eyes. Two parents who understood each other. The moment Mark caught his breath, the forest seemed to fall into a deep, reverent silence. The rescued kitten trembled in his hands, its small heartbeat fluttering against his palm like a fragile bird. Alice gently wrapped it in her scarf. It's okay, sweetheart, you're safe now, tough. But something unexpected happened. The mother bobcat stepped forward. Not slowly, not cautiously, but with a boldness that stole the family's breath. Her golden eyes were locked on the kitten wrapped in Alice's scarf. Her muscles were tight, half fear, half hope. She took another step. 10 one more. The kids froze. Mom, she's coming closer. Mark raised his hand, protesting the children. Stay behind me, touch. But the bobcat did not growl. Did not bare her teeth. Did not threaten. Instead, she lowered her head. It wasn't aggression. It wasn't warning. But it was something far more shocking. A plea. Alice whispered, she's asking for her baby. Slowly, very slowly, Alice placed the wrapped kitten on the ground. The mother bobcat stepped forward, sniffed it cautiously, then nudged it gently toward her chest. The tiny kitten cried softly, recognizing its mother's scent. The family watched, mesmerized. The mother bobcat carried her body protectively around both kittens, the rescued one and the git who had led the humans here. But then something even more surprising happened. The mother turned her eyes toward Alice. Not with fear, not with anger, but gratitude. A soft, rumble vibrated from her throat, half par, half breath. A sound wild bobcats never make near humans. Alice's eyes filled with tears. She's thanking us, touch. Ken, Without warning, the mother bobcat stepped bekant na the kittens gently toward a patch of brush. But before disappearing, she paused one last time. Just long enough to look eyes with the family. Silent. Still. Meaningful. Then she vanished with her babies into the forest's shadowed heart. The Parker family stood frozen, absorbing what had just happened. Nettie felt unreal, like witnessing something ancient, secret, and never meant for human eyes. Mark finally exhaled. I've never seen anything like that, not in the wild. Alice stared at the trees, her hand trembling. That wasn't just instinct. She trusted us. The kids nodded, overwhelmed. She knew we could help. And she let us ride to her baby. They had come for a simple hike. Now they stood in the aftermath of a moment that felt bigger than themselves. A mother bobcat risked everything to seek help from humans. Her baby had been saved. And for the first time in their lives, the Parkers felt the forest was watching them not with eyes of danger, but with respect. But none of them knew. This was not the end. Because just as they began to pack up and head home, a rustle behind them made Alice turn. Something small. Something familiar. Something unbelievable. The mother bobcat had returned. But this time, she wasn't alone. Alice froze. Just minutes after disappearing into the forest, the mother bobcat emerged again, silent, graceful, but carrying something in her mouth. A smaller object dangling gently from her teeth. Mark instinctively stepped in front of the kids. Stay back. But Alice held out a hand. No, she came back for a reason. The mother bobcat walked slowly toward them, her paws barely making a sound on the forest floor. Her eyes were calm now, no fear, no panic. Only purpose. When she reached a fallen log just a few feet from Alice, she gently set the object down. A backpack. Alice's backpack. The one she had dropped while helping secure the rope for Mark's climb. Alice stared, stunned. She brought it back to me. The bobcat sat down, her tail curling round her paws. Her posture wasn't threatening, it was almost polite. Respectful. Mark whispered, "Is she returning your stuff?" Alice's breath hitched. She's giving it back as a song, Yutuchk. The mother bobcat opened her mouth slightly, letting out a soft, larambral, a sound between a purr and a growl. Not aggressive, but emotional. A sound rarely heard by humans. Then, she nudged the backpack toward Alice with her nose. Alice took a shaky step forward and knelt down. "Thank you," she whispered, tears bulging in her eyes. The bobcat blinked slowly, a gesture of trust. Behind her, the two kittens peeked from the bushes. One limped slightly but stood strong. The other, the brave little git, chirped softly, staring at Alice like it recognized her. The moment felt unreal. Here was a wild predator, fierce, instinctive, territorial, standing inches from humans, not tagging, not hiding, but expressing gratitude. Mark knelt beside Alice, voice trembling. I've seen documentaries. I've heard stories, but never this. Never something this poor. The mother bobcat looked at each of them once more, the slow, deliberate gaze of an animal acknowledging not danger, but Alice. Then she turned and nudged her cubs forward. They scampered after her into the underbrush, disappearing into the living sea of green. The forest swallowed them gently, as if closing the final chapter of a secret encounter. For a long moment, the Parkers didn't move. The only sound was the whisper of leaves and the distant RY of a hawk overhead. Finally, Alice picked up the backpack. Her hands shook as she held it to her chest. "She trusted us," she whispered. "She truly did. Mark nodded. And she repeated that trust the only way she knew how. The kids stood silently beside them, their young faces glowing with awe. They had saved two bobcat kittens. But the mother bobcat had given them something far greater in return, a moment so rare, so impossible, it felt like a message from nature itself. And though they didn't know it yet, this wasn't the last time their paths would cross. 3 years passed. Seasons changed, staurum ze came end to end, and ze perlechern forest grew thicker, greener, and wilder than ever. The Parker family had returned to their normal routines, school, work, life, but the memory of that day never left them. Some moments in life fade. Some become distant echoes. But others carve themselves so deeply into the heart that they never disappear. For the Parkers, that moment was a matter bobcat returning back as a song you. One crisp autumn afternoon, the family decided to revisit the trial, the same one where everything had happened years before. The air smelled of pine and earth. Leaves crunched beneath their boots as they walked with a quiet sense of nostalgia. Ellie stopped near the familiar clearing. So much has changed there, she murmured. Mark nodded. And yet, Niti still feels the same touch. The kids, now taller, older, under their head, laughing softly. The forest felt peaceful, gentle, alive. Then, a sound frost air, a soft rustle. A slow, deliberate movement in the brush. Ellie turned first. Her breath caught instantly. Out from between the tall ferns stepped a bobcat. Not just any bobcat. Soar. Older now. Stronger. Her fair cheek, her presence calmer, like a queen of the forest. And behind her, following with Gurier's little steps, were 3 new kittens. Alice felt her knees weaken. My God, it's her. The mother bobcat looked directly at them, but there was no fear in her eyes. No aggression. Just resignation. Mark whispered, she remembered her stoic. The mother bobcat nudged one kitten forward. It limped slightly, its back foot dragging just a little, just like the trap kitten they saved years ago. The Parkers gasped. It's the same one, Alice whispered. The baby we saved, it survived that. The limp punk chirped softly, a happy delicate sound, and stepped closer, Gurier's but cautious. The mother bobcat didn't stop it. She lowered it. A wild animal, trusting humans to be near her child. It was a gift, a sign, a connection that defied instinct, logic, and nature. Alice lowered herself to the ground slowly, tears streaming down her face. I can't believe she came back. Mark placed a hand on her shoulder. She wanted us to see. She wanted us to not hear a ketouchk. The kittens played near the forest edge, pouncing on fallen leaves, tumbling over each other. The limp punk one stayed closer to its mother, but its eyes kept returning to the Parkers, Gurier's, gentle, remembering. The mother bobcat stood tall, her silhouette framed by golden sunlight. Then she blinked slowly, the same blink of trust she'd given 3 years ago. Alice whispered, "Thank you for remembering us, Tochk." And with that, the bobcat turned, nudged her kittens, and slipped back into the forest, disappearing the same way she had arrived there. Silent, graceful, unforgettable. The Parkers stood in awe, knowing they had witnessed something few humans ever would, prove that even in the wildest corners of nature, gratitude never dies, and memories last longer than anyone imagines.